So with that said, we then get to our main event, Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. Ashton, this was a very good main event of Monday Night Raw. Main event segment, really, all around.
Yeah, and you know what my favorite part about it was?
What's that?
The main event of Monday Night Raw had a clean finish.
Yes. Now, I hate to be that guy, Ashton, but I have to get on my soapbox for just 1 second. I saw some people complaining that they didn't like the finish. They didn't like that Randy Orton got caught in a backslide for the 3 count.
Oh, I thought it was perfect, dude. It made it seem like Rollins winning was fluky, and it was perfect.
Not only did it make it seem like Rollins winning was fluky, but if you were to believe for a second, which I'll be honest, I kind of did, in the sense that I really thought that they were going to have Randy Orton and Seth Rollins really implode at Survivor Series. So if you were going to have these guys be co-captains, losing to a backslide is the best way to make them seem like they're still equals. Randy Orton had one hiccup, Rollins capitalized, and that's the only reason Rollins won, because when you see this match, they really were equals. It was amazing. Rollins got so many crazy kicks to Orton to his head, like probably threw his equilibrium all off. So Rollins was totally game. Randy Orton at one point caught the curb stomp into the power slam. He got his DDT. So these guys were really killing each other for all intents and purposes. So not only is the win fluky, like you said, it keeps the equality, the equivalence between Orton and Rollins. And most importantly, that I'm surprised not many people are celebrating, it was just simply the right call. Who's been called the future lately? Who's been called the standard bearer? Seth freaking Rollins. And can I also say, as a side note, it is so refreshing to see a Money in the Bank holder getting big wins like this.
Oh my God, I know, right? It's ridiculous.
Like, everything about this was perfect. The fact that and Ashton, especially to your point, which I can't emphasize enough, a clean finish on TV, and everybody is still going to say that it was a weak finish. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I'm not going to try and talk the piss out of anybody who said that this was weak. I'm just going to nicely ask you guys to please recheck your premises with everything we said here, because I think we raised some legitimate arguments. Don't be so quick to just write this off when we very rarely get a clean finish with the young guy that's been espoused as the next great thing going over. Like, I love it. So after the match, which was again a great back and forth, and if you were to go watch Raw, I would definitely suggest just for this main event, because these guys have tremendous chemistry. I can't wait to see the rematch. The Authority all hits the ring. Orton is looking so frustrated with himself. He didn't get the pound of flesh that he wanted. And also probably his pride is hurt because he wanted to know that he could beat Seth Rollins. And he's like leaning against the ropes. He's got his head down. He's screaming at Triple H, "What would you do, huh? What would you have me do?" You know, trying to get Triple H to empathize with him. Like, I could never see the game swallowing his pride for anybody. And I think Orton senses the same thing.
Right.
But, you know, they still want to, because they need Randy Orton. That's been the whole thing the entire night. We need Randy Orton. We need Seth Rollins. So, therefore, we need to get them on the same page. So then Orton goes and he shakes the hands of everybody. Starts with Noble. Starts with Mercury. Looks at Kane for a little bit. Does it to Kane. Says, you know, we're good, we're good. Then it gets to Rollins. I love Seth Rollins here because he's still, after all of this, and definitely being the more subservient member of the Authority because he loves the power that he gets with it, still has to be a complete and utter douche muffin because he has to say, and I don't know if you picked up on this, dude, he looks at Randy Orton and he tells him,
Let me be the bigger man.
Let me be the bigger man. I'll be the bigger person. I'm sorry. Like, dude. You're a douchebag. And Randy Orton just kind of looks at him. He shakes Rollins' hand and he says, hey, I just want to let you know something, kid. I'm sorry, too. And then he drops him with an RKO. Then he just sends all the Authority going out. And then, Ash, I'm going to give it to you because it just all breaks down from here.
Yeah, at this point, Orton backs up, man. He wants to punt Seth Rollins' skull clean off his head. But then Triple H runs in and holds Orton off, tells Orton to stop. He's telling Kane and the Stooges all to back off. He tries to calm Orton down in the middle of the ring. Orton walks past Triple H, but he gives him a shoulder bump on the way. And Triple H grabs him and turns him around. And Orton is just done. And he pops Triple H in the face with a right. friggin' right hook, man. And then Orton starts fighting off the Stooges and Kane and clearing out the ring. Next thing you know, one of the Stooges is holding Orton by his arms, and another one of the Stooges goes after him, and he friggin' kicks him in the face, tosses the guy that was holding his arms away, throws Kane out of the ring, completely clears the ring, and dude, like, next thing you know, somebody, I think it was, who was it? Who ended up coming in and helping to hold him down?
Was it Kane?
I think it might have been. Yeah, because Kane came in with a big boot. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And it eventually gets to a point where they're able to get Orton kind of tranquilized enough that Rollins can hit him with a curb stomp on top of the announce table. And then Triple H comes over and tells them all to stop. And Stephanie tells Triple H, you need to finish him. And yeah, they do. They get Rollins to curb stomp him on the steel steps.
Yeah, it was brutal. Randy Orton sold it like a champion. Love that they allowed Randy Orton to have the collar and not worry about stitching him up until after they got him stretched.
I just have one question, John.
Yeah.
Why do movies keep taking away our hottest baby faces?
I know, right? Because now Randy Orton has to go film for a few weeks. I do think he'll be at Survivor Series. I do.
Yeah, he's going to be the mysterious fifth member of Team Cena.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I don't even see. Yeah, well, I'm going to save all that for preview and predictions. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But this was a tremendous segment. Really well done. Rollins is definitely the top heel right now, and I love.
I don't know, dude. I think it really comes down to him and Rusev, but I don't think that I would give either one of them the hands down grade.
I guess not, but man, Rollins just did so well here, and it's just great, regardless of that debate.
Well, let me put it this way, John. If we got a match between Seth Rollins and Rusev, who do you think the crowd would cheer for?
Yeah, they'd cheer for Rollins.
Yeah.
Only because of the anti-American whole rhetoric, but regardless. See, you know what? Rusev
I think that Smarks would cheer for Rusev, but the general public would cheer for Rollins.
See, here's my thing. As smart as it's going to make me sound, Rusev may be the better heel when you put it in that scenario. Well, the most over heel, I should say. But I think Rollins is just the better heel. His tactics, I think, produces more creative.
Well, I mean, dude, even I think it was Jim Ross just recently came out and said on his blog that Rusev rarely cheats. He's a patriot to his native land. He is a beast. He isn't a coward. He has not lost via pin or submission. What is there among those items that I'm supposed to dislike? So yeah, Rusev, if you look at it from an objective point of view, he's not even that much of a heel. I mean, sure, he's had his heel moments, but most of those come at the hands of Lana telling him to do heelish stuff. But the only real way that you can hate Rusev is if you are xenophobic and or ethnocentric.
Right. Which I guess is why you and I have just been rallying behind him every time the pro-American propaganda or the promos would just get so sickening. But yeah, definitely a great point there. But I'm just glad that a Money in the Bank holder has this kind of momentum that Rollins has. Because I have my own theories about Seth Rollins. And, I think it's really playing out nicely, him having this much momentum. So that was great. We go off the air for Raw with Orton being stretchered out, but then we transition to the WWE Network matchup, Rusev versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. And this is a pretty good match, Ash, and I liked how these two worked together.
Yeah. It was, I don't know. It wasn't really anything special. Would you say that this was something special? I feel like I've seen better Sheamus matches. I feel like I've seen better Rusev matches.
Yeah, I mean, there have definitely been better matches, but this wasn't horrendous by any means. I liked what these two guys did. I liked some of the power maneuvers Rusev was able to get off. Apparently at one point Sheamus tried going for a shoulder block, but Rusev caught him and powered him down. I really liked the finish.
Do you know what I really hated the most, and really the only thing that I can honestly say I hated about this match was JBL on commentary?
Yeah. Because he's
talking about, Rusev has never faced a brawler before. I guess Mark Henry and Big Show don't count as brawlers.
I guess not. I guess they'd be more the classification, at least in their eyes, as purely powerhouses or whatever. But, I really did like the finish of this match. Sheamus misses the bro kick. He gets all tied up in the corner. And Rusev capitalizes and nails a big super kick right to Sheamus' head. And then another one which sends Sheamus down. Rusev gets the accolade in again. And Rusev wins by pass out here because Sheamus did not tap, so he maintains his credibility that way. But he does pass out, which I can buy because, the kick's right to the head. Vicious. And Rusev not only wins the United States Championship, dude, he won it freaking clean. So, awesome for Rusev.
Yeah, and they got to maintain the illusion that Sheamus never gives up because he didn't tap out. He just passed out.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it just me, or is the whole passing out so that you don't have to tap out trope becoming overused because of Rusev?
A little bit. I used to really like it as like a back pocket sort of thing that you could
Yeah,
use.
like for the longest time I wanted to see him get that done on Cena, but at this point, if he does it to Cena, that would make his fourth person in a row that wasn't willing to tap out, so they passed out instead. Maybe even fifth, because that happened to Swagger too. It happened to Mark Henry and Big Show both. Now it happened to Sheamus. How far are you going to go with this?
Right, exactly. But regardless, Rusev wins the United States Championship. I seriously hope he puts it in the trash and they unveil the Russian Championship. I'd love it even as soon as next week because I think that would really garner even more heat for Rusev. Not because anybody really cares about the United States Championship, but because of what the act represents.
Right. It's all about the principle of it.
Exactly. So with that said, that wraps up the entirety of our content, so we can move on to our next segment.